quadratic review. I'm going to go fairly quickly because we have a lot to do activity-wise today. So let's do it. Yep, you're going to have to make it up. Womp, womp, womp. All right.
I'm so glad that we didn't cover English text
On B-Day, yeah. All right, guys. So I gave you all a formula chart last class, right?
Yeah.
Okay, on that formula chart, there were two different quadratic formulas. We have our standard one, and we have the vertex one. So just remember, those are the for that. Okay, so domain and range. The graph below represents the height of a golf ball in feet as a function of the elapsed time since it was hit. The golf ball was in the air for 4 seconds. What is the domain and the range of this function? So remember, we're talking about a golf ball. We're not talking about just a random quadratic parabola. We're talking about a golf ball. So am I going to have any negative anything? No, I'm not going to have negative time. I'm not going to have negative height. So domain are my what values? X values. So what is the lowest X value? 0, because it's at the origin. And what's the highest X value? 4. So my domain would be 0 is less than or equal to X less than or equal to 4. So it started at 0 seconds and it was in the air until 4 seconds and it hit the ground. Range is my what values? Y values. What's the lowest Y value? And what's the highest Y value? 80. 80 is the highest Y value, this point right here. This is also called the what? Maximum and vertex. Awesome. Maximum and vertex. Okay. So the highest Y value is 80. So my range would be 0 is less than or equal to Y is less than or equal to 80. No, you can just listen. Does that make sense for everybody? I'm going to go quick. So if I'm going too quick, you need to tell me. The owner of a resale shop is analyzing the revenue for the year. Profit is modeled by the function P of X equals X squared minus 14X plus 485, where P of X represents the profit. How many items does he sell in order to make a profit of 500? What am I going to do with that 500? I'm going to replace P of X with 500 because that's what profit of 500. So it's going to be 500 equals X squared minus 14X plus 485. Do I ever want it equal to a number other than 0? No, I don't want quadratics equal to any other number. So what am I going to do with that 500? Perfect. Brandon, you an OG right now. So that gives me 0 equals X squared minus 14X minus 15. Now, there's two things I can do. I can just graph this on Desmos and get my answer, but for the sake of just practice, let's go ahead and solve this. How can I factor this? What method can I use? X. Why can I use the X method? Because A is equal to 1. So I'm looking for two numbers that add to get me negative 14, but multiply to get me negative 15. So let me write out the factors of 15. 1 and 15, 3 and 5. I think that's it, right? So we know it has to be some combination of 1 and 15. Well, if it's adding to get me negative, I know the bigger number is negative, so positive 1 and negative 15. But those are my factors, X plus 1, X minus 15. How do I find my zeros from my factors? Perfect. Set them equal to 0 and solve. So X plus 1 equals 0, minus 1, X equals negative 1, X minus 15 equals 0, plus 15, X equals 15. So what do you think my answer is? 15, the positive answer, because I can't sell negative items. So I can only sell a positive amount of items. How do we feel about that, Micah? Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
I have a question.
Yes.
Why do we do that equal to 0?
Because you're trying to see when it hits the x-axis. So that's when it's equal to 0. Like when the y is equal to 0. Because that's the only way to find the solution. So if you go and graph this equation into Desmos, x squared minus 14x minus 15, you're going to see that it crosses the x-axis at positive 15 and negative 1. I did a crappy parabola there, but. So anytime a quadratic, literally almost the whole section on quadratics can be done in Desmos. Graph it, there's your answer, if you know what to do. And look for this, look for the zeros. Basically, that's it.
You just say that those kind of like graph.
Linear standard form, yeah. But quadratics it can. One's linear, one's quadratic. All right, let's look at the next one. The firing of a Revolutionary War cannon is used to open the local 4th of July festivities. The height of the cannon, here's the equation for the height of the cannon, where h of t is the height of the cannonball in feet and t is elapsed time. Determine what elapsed time the cannonball would be at a height of 55 feet.
You missed the height of the
Yeah, I didn't feel like reading it.
line axis.
No. The only thing you need is the equation and then what it says right here. Sorry if I confused you by skipping that part, but
Oh, it's only asking for the time.
yeah, so it's asking at what time, what was the height? I mean, what time was the cannonball at a height of 55? What am I going to do with this 55? Replace the h of t with 55 because height, h of t, so 55 equals negative 16. I'm going to put x squared. X squared plus 75x plus 6. Now what? Subtract 55 from both sides. That gives me 0 equals negative 16x squared plus 75x. What's 6 minus 55?
49. Negative 49.
All right, go ahead and use Desmos and go ahead and plug this equation in. So negative 16x squared plus 75x minus 49.
Oh,
So the reason we're looking for the zeros, Brandon, is because it says 0 equals all this. So I'm looking for where it hits the x-axis. So negative 16x squared. What was the rest of it? Plus 75x. All right, so it hit the x-axis at 0.785 and 3.903. So those are my two answers. Are we good with that? I need to know because I don't want to keep moving on and you're confused. Natalie, you good? Sienna, you good?
I think it was fine.
Mm-hmm. So just remember, quadratics, if it's telling you to solve for anything, it's just asking you to solve for the zeros. Or, Brandon, if it makes more sense to you, you can start off with the original equation. Are you looking at my screen? Start off with the original equation, and you can look, when did it hit, what was the question, 55 feet? So you can scroll all the way up to 55 and go see where it hit 55, roughly 0.785 and 3.9. There's your same answers, okay? So you can do it either way, but to me, it's easier to just look at the zeros. Okay. All right, cool. All right, next one. Let's just make sure we know vocabulary. It says, what are the solutions to the quadratic function? What does solutions mean? Zeros. What does zeros mean? X-intercepts. What's another word for all that? Roots. Beautiful. You need to know that could be said either of these 4 different ways. So looking at this parabola, I have an x-intercept at -5, and I have an x-intercept at +1. Everyone good with that? The next question says, what is the axis of symmetry? What's that asking? Perfect. Ooh, Alexander, perfect. What's that vertical line that splits my parabola in half? So a vertical line is a what type of equation? X equals Vux. X equals, so what's the X value on this point? So my axis of symmetry is X equals -2. That's the vertical line that splits my graph in half. Are we good with that? Yeah? Okay, next question says, what's the vertex? What is the vertex? Perfect, that's the max or min. So what point is that? -2,9, beautiful. All right, and we're not gonna, what's different from the parent function? That's just asking, remember my parent function is y equals x squared. So this is flipped upside down. Since this is flipped upside down, what do I know about this? It's reflecting across the x-axis. What else do I know about this? What do I know about the equation?
Or no, different slopes.
Forgot about the equation.
So this has nothing to do with slope because it's not linear. What, but since it's turned upside down, what do I know about one of these letters here? I know A is going to be negative because this is turned upside down. The vertex is at -2,9. So it went to the left 2. What do you know about the H then? +2. And it went up 9. So what does that tell you about the K value? +9. Good. A quadratic function is represented in the table below. What are the solutions to the quadratic? What's the vertex? Is there a maximum or minimum? We're going to skip this problem, but if I had a table and it's asking me for the quadratic, how can I use Desmos? Plug the table in. I could plug this table into Desmos. This is a quadratic. This is a quadratic. So my quadratic equation is y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. But I can't put it in like this. I have to put y1 squiggle a x1 squared plus bx1 plus c. And it'll give me all my information I need to know. Hey, guess what, guys? I wrote that equation on your little study packet.
Yeah.
I
Are
did.
you gonna give it to us on the test?
I can't. That's cheating.
Write it down.
You could write it down immediately when you get through test. Okay, so when I put this table into Desmos, it's gonna graph this whole thing for me and I can figure out my solutions, my vertex, my max or min, all of that. Cool. All right, which quadratic function has a vertex at 3, 5 and passes through the point -2, 55? Vertex, how do I label my vertex? What letters represent vertex? Beautiful, man, y'all are making me so happy right now. H and K. So these are my H, that's my K. What point is this? What can I label this point? X and Y. So what can I do with these points to figure out my equation? Plug it in. So my Y value is 55. I don't know my A. My X value is -2. My H value is +3, so -3 squared. My K value is +5. So -2 minus 3, 55 equals A times -2 minus 3 is -5. Plus 5. 55 equals -55 squared is 25 plus 5. What can I do from here? Subtract 5 from both sides. That gives me 50 equals A times 25. And then what? Divide by 25. So my A value is 2, which is the only one that has a +2 A value. B. So that was easy because all the A's were different. But if it wasn't, I would have to go in and write down my formula and solve for the standard form. So how would I solve for standard form from vertex form? How would I simplify this equation? I can't distribute first. Box method, x minus 3 squared. First I need to do x minus 3 squared. So that would give me y equals 2 times x squared minus 6x plus 9 plus 5. And then what? Then I can distribute. So that would give me y equals 2x squared minus 12x plus 18 plus 5. And then what? Combine like terms. So y equals 2x squared minus 12x plus 23. So there's your answer. Okay. Transformations. Gerald needs the parabolic shape to open downward. If it's opening downward, what do I know about the A value? A is going to be negative. So that's one thing I know. So automatically B and D are wrong because they have positive A values. Stretch vertically. For it to stretch vertically, what do I know about the A value? Not between 0 and 1, greater than 1. So to stretch vertically, A has to be greater than 1 by a factor of 2. LOL, I didn't read the rest of that. So we know A is 2. Shift right 3 units. So if it's shifting to the right 3 units, -3. So remember, it's opposite. So -3, but that just means 3 is positive. So it's going to be minus x minus 3. And we knew this was -2. And we know that it's shifting down 4. So what?
-4.
So which one goes with that?
That one.
A, right?
Wait. A was greater than 1. How is it negative?
Remember, negative, think of negative as not a part of it. The 2, dang it. 2 is greater than 1. The number is greater than 1.
Oh.
Okay.
So it doesn't have to do
No.
anything.
There's like different like size.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so this is the last thing. Why is this saying no solution? Because it doesn't cross the x-axis. Why is this one solution? All right, and this is 2 solutions. Crosses twice. Beautiful. We just did about 4 or 5 weeks of learning in less than 30 minutes.
Then why don't we take this